The Olivet Discourse found in Matthew 24 is the key passage for understanding the end times. Jesus' words in this passage outline events leading up to his return to the earth and to the end of the age. One of the key elements of this Olivet Discourse is the prediction of false messiahs, false prophets who will appear before the end of the age. Jesus warns his disciples to be on their guard against such imposters who deceive many people, and they'll come just before his return. Another important aspect of the Olivet Discourse is Jesus' description of events that will take place just before his return. He mentions wars and rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes, widespread persecution of believers. And these events are seen as birth pains that will increase in frequency and intensity until the end of the age. And these events will lead to eventually the Great Tribulation, 7-year period of intense suffering and judgment, and will culminate in Jesus' return to earth. And Jesus also emphasized the importance of being prepared for his return. He tells his disciples to stay awake and be ready and watching, because he will return in an unexpected hour. Jesus' return will be sudden, and believers must be ready at all times. The Olivet Discourse also mentions the gathering of the elect from the four corners of the earth, and this event is seen by some as the rapture of the church. It's rich. The Olivet Discourse is rich and complex. It's a passage that gives insight to the end times, and by studying Jesus' words, we can gain a deeper understanding of events that will take place before his return and be better prepared for the end of the age. Now stop right there. Anybody notice anything different about what I just did? Well, some of you might say, well, that's a little weird because Brett, you don't normally read that much. I don't know if you know that, but I usually don't read. I've got a few words on my notes that kind of like reminder words of dates and stuff, but I don't usually read. But I thought it'd be fun because everything that I just said was not my words at all. I didn't come up with that. It didn't come from my brain. It came from ChatGPT. I'm not kidding. Here's the question I asked ChatGPT. Now this is, if you were here last month, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But ChatGPT is AI, artificial intelligence, and it's in the last 2 months, it's kind of gone nuts, if you haven't noticed. But I just went into ChatGPT and asked, I said, write an essay on the Olivet Discourse found in Matthew 24 from a pre-tribulational point of view. And I just read to you the introduction that ChatGPT in 10 seconds. Now you have to understand, ChatGPT isn't going like out on Google and searching for something someone else said. That's not what artificial intelligence is. Artificial intelligence creates something from nothing. So I could have turned this in as a term paper and nobody could Google it and find those words because it was created for me in that 10-second period, which is a little shocking. Because, pre-tribulational Matthew 24 Olivet Discourse, that's not just an everyday. In fact, Google doesn't even do that good of a job. If you ask Google the same question, it'll give you a list of people, but some will be, not pre-tribulational, but post or on millennial or, preterist. Google's pretty confused. It Googles things up, if you know what I mean. But ChatGPT actually put it pretty much the way I would have said it for the most part, which is kind of shocking. And it tells us what's going to happen in the future. It's kind of amazing. In fact,